Hello, good afternoon to everybody that are here today to listen to us. I'm a pleasure to have Flavia Marzano with us today. Hello, Flavia, how are you?
Hello, fine, thank you. And you?
Fine, like every day. So,
Great.
Flavia is a founder and former president of Stati Generali dell'Innovazione. I got it?
You
Yeah?
got it
Oh,
perfectly.
perfect. So you can ask a question directly on Telegram, joining the group Telegram Open Expo Europe, or through social networks like Twitter or LinkedIn. So today with Flavia, we will see digital and open transformation after coronavirus. So just go on, Flavia, with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and I try to tell you my opinion on what will be on digital and open transformation after coronavirus. Who am I? I'm called myself a why notter. I'll tell you why later. I'm a computer scientist, so let me say nobody's perfect. A director of Smart Public Administration Master and Professor at Link Campus University. Advisor for Public Administration on Digital Transformation. I'm a founder of not just Stati Generali dell'Innovazione, General Estate of Innovation, and the Utopian, which are two NGOs, but also a WISTER networks, which is, WISTER means Women for Inclusive and Smart Territories, so a network of women working in technologies. And I've been City Councillor, so I'm former Rome City Councillor, Deputy for Smart City, Innovation, Participation, Inclusion, Active Citizenship, Digital Transformation, and I have some other tags, some other passion and issues I work on: open source, open data, smart land, equal opportunity for all, and SDGs, so Sustainable Development Goals. So let's go. We are in a really difficult time, we all know, but we must look further, mainly to understand how this can become a great opportunity to change. I'm probably optimistic, but I think that it's important to be it now. A great opportunity to change planning right now, future development. We are in the right moment. You probably know him, is Douglas Adams. He said, technology is stuff that doesn't work yet. It could be fun, but it said another very nice thing. It is 3 points on the nature of technological adoption. The first point is, anything that is in the world when you're born is normal and ordinary and is just a natural part of the way the world works. I think that you agree on that. See a young boy, girl working with a smartphone and you understand. Second point is, anything that's invented between when you are 15 and 35 is new, exciting, and revolutionary. And if you can, probably get a career in it. Third one, pay attention to that. Anything invented after you are 35 is against the natural order of things. But only after being in circulation for at least 10 years can it be considered quite normal. So 10 years. So why I'm here today? To try to say you my opinion on digital and open transformation after coronavirus, not just 10 years. I think that will be 10 months. We should do something, maybe less than that. So now is the right moment to work on that. What can be done? Those are keywords we should talk about. Digital transformation, usability and accessibility of public sites, open data and open source in public administration, simplification of regulation and services, inclusivity, no one should be left behind, open government in all these keywords, so participation, openness, transparency, accountability, communication and collaboration, infrastructure, which is the base of, so connectivity, broadband, we see now that is a strong problem. And why not PPP, so private-public partnership. We should turn problems into opportunity. That's the time to do it. We are working now from home, so it's a kind of teleworking. It's not exactly smart working, but now we are in the right time to change rule, to train people, to find the right tools, to be able in the future to really have smart working. We should overcome the digital divide, which is not just infrastructural, but also social, economic, and cultural. We should open our data, open source, open innovation, and an open mind. As Albert Einstein said, minds are like parachutes. They work best when open. So let's try now to open our mind in order to be able to switch, to turn problems into opportunities. And let's take this opportunity and move from what we said in the last couple of years, digital first, to digital only. Now, in those weeks, we are working, teaching, learning on digital only way. So why don't switch directly from digital first to digital only? We will be able to do it. It could work, okay? And don't forget vision, of course, but we should achieve the change now or never, now or never. I'm quite convinced about that. So vision, it's okay, but we need also skills, incentives, resources, and action plans. Too many times we saw something missed. So if you want to change, really, we should have all these points very clear. So where are common mistake? Which kind of common mistake we do have? The first one I found too many times, too much, is the NIH, not invented here syndrome. I really prefer standing on the shoulder of the giants and inventing another acronym. I'm sorry, I'm really sick of acronyms. I like that. So a proudly found elsewhere. We should do that. I mean, coming in a new work, which is in the public administration, in the private, in a politician work, we very often see people saying that, I'm coming now, I change everything. Okay, change everything wrong. But if the previous one did something good, so please use it again. So it's found elsewhere, is good, use it and start from there. Another common mistake is we always acted this way, which is really unbelievable. I've heard it so many times. You probably know the story of the frog and the scorpion. This is exactly what we do, and this is a strong mistake we should try to avoid. Another mistake is working on silos. Silos in enterprises, in public administration, in departments, between one politician and another one manager and another. We should work together. This is the only way to switch to a digital and open transformation. Another one, the finger and the moon. What we see is mainly based on what we look for. So we should try strongly to look at the right thing, because elsewhere we will miss a strong opportunity. Another one, the users are considered as mere faceless objects for who the systems are designed. We are not faceless, we are not objects, we should be involved in the decision. That's a typical issue we saw so many times, the design from one side and the user experience for the other one. This is another really strong mistake. We should start now to co-design the future. The future not in 10 years, but in few months, maybe 10, maybe less, but in few months. Another mistake is on experts. It's not my sentence, as you see, but I'm quite sure that some of you agree on that. Many times experts fail because they are expert in the past version of the word. Yeah, it's difficult to change this, but at least we should be aware that can be a mistake. Another one. Tacitus, 2000 years ago, 1900 years ago, said, I would say it in Latin first, corruptissima republica plurime leges. That means in the most corrupt state, there are too many laws. I'm talking about Italy. We should really start now to cut and to keep it simple, because it's possible to do it, and now is the right moment to do it. Did we forget it? I mean, President Obama 11 years ago talked about open government. Openness will strengthen our democracy and promote efficiency and effectiveness in government. Don't forget that. We should start from here. And yet, another big problem is on gender gap. The Global Gender Gap Report 2020 from the World Economic Forum. And still in the world, not just in Italy or in Europe, we still have a strong gender gap. This sentence is really terrific. None of us will see gender parity in our lifetimes, and nor likely will many of our children. That's so sobering finding of the Global Gender Gap Report, which reveals that gender parity will not be attained for 99.5 years. Absolutely unbelievable. We have to start now. And in the restructure, how can we say, in trying now to changing the world we are now, after coronavirus, we should not forget gender issue. Those are some other data. Probably is not easy to see. I don't know whether, but I will publish those slides on SlideShare, so you will be able to read it later if you want. 14%, the percent of firms with majority female ownership. 18% a female top manager. 36 females in senior roles is really too low. Women political empowerment. In parliament, 25% in 153 countries. 21% ministries, chief ministries. And share of country who ever had a female head of state in the past 50 years, 47%. So we should really do something on that. This is the last slide on that. Starting from the higher part, people and culture, well, a lot of women, why not? Content production, a lot of women. Roles, and then marketing, sales, product development, data and artificial intelligence, engineering, and cloud computing. So we should work on that issue. Now, women are strongly underrepresented in the digital economy. See, those figures are unbelievable. 19% of European ICT entrepreneurs are women. 17% ICT specialists is in EU, in Europe, is a woman. 1 in 3 STEM graduates in women is a woman. STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We are underrepresented in the digital economy, and this is the right opportunity to change. So that's why I try to be optimistic, and I would say that we are lucky now, because it's a time of changement. We are at a crossroad. We have accessible technologies with unifying characteristic, potentially ecumenical, easily distributable, and above all, centered on the present most important raw material for the generation of value, information. This is a sentence of a very good friend of mine, can be somebody's skeptics on that. I made another acronym, so I'm sorry about that. It's a really a mania, but I like to joke. So stakeholders, community, ecosystem, participation, technologies, innovation, collaboration, and smart city for all. Those are issues we should work now to be able to change the world. And why I said that we are lucky? Because we are in ecotone. This can be a great opportunity. What an ecotone is a transition environment between two ecosystems, like this, as you see, the river, the seaside and mountains, and the middle, there is the ecotone. So it's the zone between two major ecological communities. Now we are exactly in the middle between what we could say before coronavirus and after coronavirus. Now we are in the middle, and this is a strong opportunity to change, to find the right way to move in the right direction for digital and open transformation. And of course, in order to enable innovation, we should think and work outside the box. And having probably new vision, yet another acronym, I'm sorry, is the fifth one, as you see on the top of the slide. View from different perspective, pink glasses. Involve, bottom up, involving everybody could help us. We all together can we be able to do something better. Sharing knowledge, ideas, software, data, we see. Imagine, no constraints in thinking. Organize, we should organize ourselves first. And navigate, drive our collaborators. User is a unique person, sensible, engageable, reactive. We cannot think about user like a faceless object. We are unique, we are sensible, we are engageable. And if you engage us as a user, as a city user, as a customer, as whatever, we will be able to react and help you. So, user. With some attention, of course. Engagement is a value and, creates value. Technologies are not always the solution. Sometimes there are some other better solutions than technology. Sorry about that. Participation through technologies, pay attention, because often could reproduce the dynamics already existing in the political citizen relationship. So we should do it, but with the new mind outside the box. And awareness. The citizens should be aware of their rights. Politicians should be aware of their duties. So talk about goals and strategies. Rights to digital identity, information and use of content. Think about what we're talking about in Europe, in many countries in these days, about an app tracing us for helping us in understanding whether or not we are at risk. So protection of personal data, of course, should be another right we should have. Participation, digital access and inclusion. Nobody should be left behind, as I said. Daily use of the benefits of digital technologies. And training. We cannot forget people suffering from digital divide. They will be outside of the world if we not help them in understand and learn something about technology, and they should be able to work on that, so training. This is unfortunately a very small slide, so it's not easy for you probably to read it, but I repeat, they will be published on SlideShare. But it's perfect for any point of view. There is a font where I found it. Is, for me, in my opinion, is exactly what we should be able to do about our rights. right to privacy, right to education and literacy, freedom for discrimination, rights not to be judged by a machine, pay attention to that too, right to challenge the algorithm, political participation, right not to be profiled, and so on and so on. So have a look of this, because it is exactly what I'm convinced is correct. We should work on. So coming back to goals and strategy, openness and transparency. This is not just a technological objective, technological goal, but also philosophical and methodological. It is the foundation of digital citizenship, at least on 3 fronts. We should make public administration totally transparent, enable citizens to observe it, to understand what they're doing, how they're doing, how many money, and when. So widespread form of control over government action. And enable constructive interaction between public administration and citizen. Constructive. I will say later why it is not easy, but we see. So, passing through adoption of free software in public administration, adoption of open standards and open format, obligation for public administration to distribute their archives also on open data. So open by default. They should tell us why they do not open some data, because the default must be open data. Digitization of services as much as possible, of course. Adoption of open metadata, adoption of open access, adoption of open licensing models. That was when I was city councillor. That was my open alphabet. My agenda was open. Anybody could see on internet where I was, when I was talking to whom, and how many times, and where I was in the world when I was in some conference, like, Open balance. We published the balance sheet of the last 10 years of the Rome municipality. So you could compare the 3 different mayors, how did they spend in this issue, who was spending more or less, and it was very clear because it was through infographics. Open source code, because I made a local law forcing public administration, Rome administration, adopting open source solution, or give a motivation, a good reason why they couldn't in that occasion, and open data portal. Let's look at this. This is a resolution from the European Parliament 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Calls for the systematic replacement of proprietary software by auditable and verifiable open source software in all the EU institutions. 5 years ago. We should push in this direction. It's time to do. I mean, we didn't spend the 10 years, as Douglas Adams said. 5 should be enough now, after this hard period we are living. And another important issue is the data-driven decision, not just for the private people, but mainly from the public administration. They should be able to take the decision based on data. Remembering, of course, the SDGs, so the Sustainable Development Goals, they must be the light they follow for their decision. Access, coming back to goals and strategies, access to data, as I said, access to internet for everybody. And now that all young guys and women, girls have to study from home, at least in Italy, there are some of them, they don't have internet. So we have to work on that. Now, access to documents and Freedom of Information Act, the so-called FOIA. What about cloud computing? Talking about public administration, I'm strongly convinced that the data lock-in represents the greatest danger. So we should, in public administration, private cloud, their own cloud, at least hybrid, using data, not so much protected or covered by privacy. What we still miss is what I said before: more access, more mutual trust. That's why I said that it's not very easy to make politicians and citizens talk together. They are one against the other one. And we should trust each other, because it's the only way to collaborate. And to collaborate, we will be able to go through the problems and to achieve a digital and open transformation. More innovation, more political will, more cohesion, and, well, more laicity and politician. It's important. New question and new answer. So now we have a lot of questions in this coronavirus period. We need new answers. Without awareness of new dynamics, there are, for sure. For next month, we will have new dynamics in living, our work, our friendship, our personal life is different and will be different in the next few months, I hope few. So without awareness of new dynamics, we risk to govern new processes as a simple quantitative extension of the old one. We don't have to do that. The services must be redesigned by people having the awareness of new questions and new answers. So what to do? Multi-stakeholder forum for permanent consultation on the main topics, for instance, digital innovation. Participation in the definition and monitoring of strategic decision. Now, publication of drafts of the most important initiatives before, in order to make people participating, from which a structured consultative path is developed. Opening of online platform for the proposal of ideas. We need a deal. We need a deal and a team. You know, probably the starting from the needs of the city user with the participatory planning by all the actors in the area: administration, companies, enterprises, small and big, universities, schools, research centers, NGOs, social and cultural association. A deal all together. So here is another acronym: democracy, empowerment, accessibility, and literacy. Those are keywords we should keep for our future and our deal. And in summary, I think that we could interpret the digital and open transformation in this way. That's my suggestion. So we could talk about that, of course. Sustainability and resilience, openness and transparency, participation and collaboration, connectivity, and why not, creativity, thinking about out of the box. And that's why talking about myself as a why notter, I strongly prefer why notter to yes butter. In those periods, anything coming from one people, there is at least 10 others saying, yes, but. Oh, it's really unbelievable. We don't have to do it now. Now we can just be why not, because it's possible to do it and we have to do it. So I'm quite finished. So let's not look back in anger. It's dangerous. Nor forward in fear, doesn't help, but around in awareness. That's what I'm asking you, me, all of us. We should do it together, looking around in awareness. That's the last acronym. I'm sorry, just to make some fun at the end of my presentation. And for A, we should stay aware, awake, accepting, and attuned. So thank you very much for listening to me. You can find me there on email or Twitter well, I'm also on Facebook, but LinkedIn, whatever you want. And talking about knowledge sharing, well, of course, this presentation is covered by a license Creative Commons attribution and share alike. So you can do whatever you want. Just give me the attribution and share with the same license. Thank you very much for the time you gave me.
Thank you very much, Flavia. Really interesting. We have some questions right now from the audience. So
Okay.
are you ready?
Yeah, sure, I try. I hope.
Okay, perfect. So first one from David Newman. Aren't local politicians and citizens already close as they arrange food deliveries to vulnerable people in the street over WhatsApp or local initiative like togetheroxford.org?
Oh, not easy. May
No,
I fund it?
you,
May I
yeah.
fund it on the Telegram? This question.
Yes, of course,
They're there.
Aren't local. If you want, we can go with the second one and go back then to the first
No,
one.
because
Okay.
about food, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's not exactly my competence. I don't know whether the technologies can be involved in it.
Okay, let's go with the second one and then we
Yeah,
just go
thank you.
back. Okay. So the question from Nicole: what do you think the effect will be on GDPR? Will people be asked to trade off privacy for freedom of movement, etc.?
Yeah, it's exactly what it's happened, at least in Italy, because they just present an app for tracing. So of course we should all be concerned about GDPR and privacy, but we should also know that, in my opinion, at least the app the government is proposing us is based on Bluetooth, so it's not tracing, it's not giving data to anybody. It's just the Bluetooth one, so there is no data stored in any place. There is no data, and they will be eventually, if I will be positive to the coronavirus, I would choose if I can give my data or not. So it's still my choice. So of course, it's a feature we should think about, but I hope that in the government everybody should be concerned about saving our lives, and in the other sense, using the right technologies and protecting us from all the privacy issues.
Okay, if you want, we can go back to the first question if you have time to read it.
I just saw the last one that David said. I'm talking about the spontaneous adoption of technology by volunteer in both council and communities. No need for official software development. Yeah, of course. If you do that, it's correct. But our government, at least in Italy, decided to switch to an app. We can do both, of course. What else?
Okay.
The other one was
the other one. Maybe we have another question from social networks. It's about Munich city that moved 3 years ago from
I know, yeah.
Linux to Windows. What about this topic? What was happening with this? Do you think this is an error? Do you think this is something that we will see in the future more and more, or not?
That's a good question. Thank you very much. I think that there is nothing for free. So when you achieve your goal, you must be always aware and continue to check whether it will be still your goal achieved. So we cannot stop fighting for adopting for instance, in the case of Munich City open source solution. When I say we, I say all the organization, the NGOs, the university, all the people, the community of the free software we should be more concerned and control. We have to control our politicians, because elsewhere the big market will be stronger than us. So we cannot sleep on our future. We should be strongly awake on that.
Okay. And then we can go with the question from Pier Giorgio. So, well, it's a little part at the beginning. We'll go with the questions directly. We have a lack of skills and knowledge in terms of technology. Do you think that we're living an educational problem in this current age? Investing in school and university may be our solution for the future.
Well, for
There is a
sure, yeah.
lot of things in the question.
Yeah. It's
The
correct.
introduction.
It's important and it's correct. If you see the DAISY report, we see that the digital divide is a strong issue. Talking about Italy, if I'm not wrong, we are in the last 5 position on 27, 28 European countries. So at least in Italy, we have it as a problem. The digital divide, not just from the infrastructure, but from the competences, is very important. The only way is, go to school, giving schools and university. We tried, at least in Italy, with also with small school. I know that there is a digital person in any school. Is not enough. It's not enough. We should. That's why I said we should switch from digital first to digital only. When your solution is just online, you will be probably in the beginning, you will find it difficult, but at the end of the story, you have to learn how to solve this problem, because it's the only way you can achieve your goal is doing in a digital way. So you will be sooner or later able to do it. But of course, the training will be essential. As in Rome, for instance, when I was there, I made what I call there was the offices where people not able to solve their problem to getting an online services, they could make a phone call and make a reservation of a person, talking to him, her for half an hour, and first of all teaching how to do, and then doing it. So I have to sign my son at school. The only way to do it is online. I'm not able to do. I call the Rome office and I make a reservation, and I found Pier Giorgio, who will help me for half an hour in understanding how to do it next time by myself. But at the end of half an hour, I will be going outside with my son in the school. So I solved the problem, but at the same time, I should be able to learn, to understand how to do it.
Okay.
And there was another on the...
Yeah, there was another question on Pier Giorgio, but I think maybe you can answer it directly on Telegram. After the webinar. There is another question about OSPO in the company's open source program office. Is there something that's working on in the city councils and the government, like the OSPO? What's the same part of OSPO in the public sector?
I'm sorry, but I didn't understand the question.
In the company, there is an open source program office.
Which company?
In some companies, for example, in Microsoft or in Uber.
Is there an open source office?
Yeah, open source office in those companies that are working in lots of topics. Is there in the public sector something like this, similar that is working only and focusing only on this part, working with, for example, the European Commission, working with the Open Source Initiative, the Free Software Foundation, or a different kind of question. Maybe you answer this question, but
yeah, if you see what the resolution of European Parliament 5 years ago, in theory they should be. There is not, as far as I know, there is not so enough awareness of that. It's because, as I said, one of the common mistakes, is saying, I'm always doing that way, let me do in the same way I did it in the last 10 years. It's not correct. It's an easier way to do. We should, one more, be strongly present and saying, hey, administration, please, why don't you buy, you get your open source software, but you buy software with another license? Why you did that? Because at least in Italy, there is a law since 15 years, if I'm not wrong, saying that any Italian public administration buying software should try to get an open source license. And if they don't do it, they have to motivate why they're not buying free software license. So they don't do it anyway, because there is no punishment if they don't. But still, the civil society, the NGOs, all the organization on open knowledge, we should all together ask them, please tell me, why did you buy this software, which is not covered by an open source license? Please tell me why. Motivate them. So that's something that we could do. We have to control them. That's why I'm talking about participation.
Okay. If you have some more questions, you have a few seconds to ask in directly. Thank you to Pier Giorgio, to David and Nicole that ask directly on Telegram. Next week we will have another webinar in English, creating an inclusive team culture in times of change, with Yanni Cheng, engineer in Yelp. So if you are happy with this, you can subscribe for next webinar for next week, 13th of April. So just to remember, if you have some more questions, you can do it right now, or if you want to add something, Flavia, you can do it right now too.
Of course, two things. I will publish my slides on SlideShare, and I will answer on the Open Expo Europe group on Telegram, of course.
Okay, I think there is no more question for today. Thank you very much for your time, for your knowledge. And if you have some more question, you can contact directly Flavia through our email, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, not? I understand that.
Yes, if you want, of course.
Yeah,
you can do it, of course, there. Sure.
On Facebook, or right now she's on the group Open Expo Europe on Telegram, so she can answer on your question directly on Telegram right now. So thank you very much for your time and knowledge, and to be here with us this afternoon.
Thank you very much, you, for inviting me. I will be ready to answer. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.